He had no money, no college degree, just oil on his hands and a dream in his head. The farmer boy who invented Ford. Born in a farmhouse, raised in the dirt, he grew up to put the entire world on wheels. This is the true story of the farmer boy who invented Ford. Born to build. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, in Dearborn, Michigan. The son of Irish immigrants, he grew up on a modest family farm with no idea he'd change the world one day. But while other boys were chasing livestock, Henry was chasing gears. As a child, he dismantled everything: watches, clocks, and even tools, just to understand how they worked. At the age of 12, he took apart a neighbor's pocket watch and put it back together. By 13, he had earned a reputation as the best young fixer in the township. He wasn't interested in farm life. He wanted machines. He wanted movement, leaving the fields behind. At age 16, Henry left home for Detroit to work as a machinist apprentice. He worked long hours, learning about steam engines, internal combustion, and metalwork. He didn't have money for college, but every bolt, every piston was a page in his self-made education. By 1891, Ford joined the Edison Illuminating Company and quickly rose to the role of chief engineer. He worked under electric pioneer Thomas Edison himself, who would later become his mentor. It was during this time Henry began working secretly on a new dream: building a horseless carriage that ran on gasoline. The first car. In 1896, after years of trial and error, Henry Ford built his first gasoline-powered vehicle, the quadricycle. It looked like a motorized bicycle with 4 wire wheels, no brakes, and a tiller instead of a steering wheel. It wasn't perfect, but it moved. It ran. This was the spark he needed. Failure before fortune. Ford's early ventures were not successful. His first 2 companies failed. Investors were frustrated. His designs were considered too experimental or too slow. But Henry wasn't building for the rich. He wasn't interested in luxury. He had a radical idea: make a reliable car that ordinary Americans could afford. And that idea refused to die. Ford Motor Company is born. In 1903, at the age of 40, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company with just $28,000 in capital. He launched several models, but it was the Model T released in 1908 that changed everything. It was cheap, strong, and simple. Priced at $850 initially, the Model T was durable enough for rough country roads and easy to repair. As demand exploded, so did the need for production, revolutionizing industry. In 1913, Ford introduced the moving assembly line, an innovation that changed not just car manufacturing, but all modern industry. It cut production time from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. As production speed increased, prices dropped. By 1925, the price of Model T had fallen to $260, less than a third of its original cost. Cars were no longer a luxury. They were a part of everyday life. The $5 workday. In 1914, Ford shocked the business world by offering workers $5 per day, double the industry standard, and reducing the workday to 8 hours. Critics called him crazy, but Henry Ford believed that if workers earned enough, they could afford the very products they built. That wasn't just good ethics, it was genius economics. His workers became his customers. His factory became a symbol of dignity, efficiency, and middle-class life. Legacy of the Model T. Over 15 million Model Ts were sold between 1908 and 1927. It became the most influential car in history. America's roads, cities, and culture began to form around the freedom that Ford's cars gave people. Gas stations, highways, motels, even the weekend were all byproducts of Ford's innovation. He didn't just make a machine. He made a movement, challenges, and controversy. But not everything in Ford's legacy is polished. He was accused of being anti-Semitic due to his newspaper's controversial content. He resisted labor unions and often clashed with workers. His relationship with his only son, Edsel Ford, was tense and controlling. Despite this, Henry continued to push boundaries. Wartime production and final years. During World War II, Ford Motor Company produced tanks, jeeps, and planes for the Allied forces. The famous Willow Run plant could produce a B-24 bomber every hour, something no other company could achieve. But by the mid-1940s, Henry's health was declining. After Edsel's death in 1943, Ford reluctantly resumed leadership, but eventually passed control to his grandson, Henry Ford II. Henry Ford died in 1947 at the age of 83, just miles from where he was born. A legacy cast in steel. Henry Ford didn't invent the car, but he invented the way the world uses it. He made automobiles affordable. He revolutionized labor. He introduced the weekend, the 8-hour shift, and middle-class consumerism. More than a businessman, he was a builder of systems. His belief? That good ideas belong to the people, and if you give them tools, they'll build the future. From a farm boy with a wrench to the man who moved the world.